Surprise, 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 as the great Gomer Pyle once said. College football and Oklahoma football wouldn't be college football and Oklahoma football if there wasn't a little drama in the offseason or a little drama in general with college football, as we discussed last night in the live stream. But things have become a little more clear, and I've got a little more accurate view of what I think went down. And maybe there's some nefarious agents out there with rivals of Oklahoma that seem to be a little worried about how good Oklahoma will be, since they went to great lengths to find these things that were screenshotted and put out on social media. Let's talk about it. Here we go again, riding on in. The college football season's getting closer and closer, and here they come riding in. It's the Outlaw Posse, now in effect in today's Four Horsemen. Shout-outs go to Killer Breeze, James, Mike Happy, and Big Stack Kelly are mounted up and saddled up, ready to go. They're going to help us with today's college football invasion. And let's just get right to it here. I'm going to go ahead and bring up the screenshots that were put out by certain nefarious people in college football circles. Let's check it out. And here it is. Richard Roten paid John Mateer November 23rd, 2022, Ultra Sports Gambling FIFA World Cup. Then John Mateer paid Richard Roten Sports Gambling UCLA versus USC November 20th, 2022, which is maybe a few days before that game, if I'm not mistaken. I could be mistaken on that. I'll have to look it up and see the exact day that they played. John Mateer paid Richard Roten for sports gambling, as it says right here. Now, whether these were screenshots of validity or whether they were photoshopped, I'm not sure. I'm guessing, since John Mateer has basically owned up to it, that it's not Photoshop, as some people might want to believe. So I don't really think it's Photoshop at all. I think they're valid. He says there was an inside joke amongst him and his friends. My question is to John Mateer, if it was an inside joke, you probably need to elaborate. Now, I know a lot of people are going to come in here and raise hell about his privacy. But when you get in a position like John Mateer is with the Oklahoma Sooners at a high-profile blue blood program and getting paid millions of dollars, I hate to say it, and it might be unfair, but, well, it's not really unfair, to be honest with you, because of all the money you're making. You sort of have to take a back seat on the privacy issue, at least a little bit. And in this case, he's probably going to have to explain exactly why this was considered an inside joke. Then you'll have those that'll run in here and raise hell at me and say, hey, look, man, he don't really owe us anything. John Mateer don't owe any of us anything, and he don't owe us nothing. But he sure as hell owes Oklahoma something. Even if he don't explain it to the common Joes and the common Sallies out here, he needs to explain to Oklahoma and the NCAA exactly what the inside joke is, because Oklahoma has invested a lot of time and money in this guy. So for you people to come in here and say he doesn't owe Oklahoma anything, that's a load of horse manure. He absolutely 150% owes Oklahoma a complete and detailed explanation for the money they have spent on this guy. If he doesn't want his privacy to be infringed upon, then all I can say is tough shit, man, because that's what comes with the territory when you become famous and you start making a lot of money. Everybody knows this. It's been a thing that's been going on for decades and decades, if not 100 years. So let's not act like this is just a John Mateer thing. But I do have an interesting article I'm going to bring up that might shed a little light on why exactly these screenshots all of a sudden surfaced right before the season started. Stuff that was from 3 or 4 years ago. Sounds like somebody is digging really, really, really hard. Check this article out. All right, this comes from USA Today, and this was released this morning, so this is pretty current. It says Oklahoma's John Mateer gambling allegations, latest SEC rivalry chapter of history. It says there are two ways to look at this sexy and potentially salacious gambling story mere days from the start of college football. Sexy and potentially salacious? USA Today? Come on, man. That's what I can't stand about these major media outlets, man. They have to doctor things up and try to make it sexy and potentially salacious. But let's continue reading here. Here's the way that you can look at it. 1. Oklahoma quarterback John Mateer gambled on sports despite his public denial. Or 2. Somewhere in these amber waves of grain and purple mountains of majesty is a Texas fan who spent time investigating the rival team's quarterback, found his Venmo account, and saw the alleged inside jokes and dumped them in the social media world of shoot first and aim second, and away we go. There you go. So I'm not the only one saying it. This ain't just the Oklahoma people out there being paranoid saying it. USA Today obviously has an inkling and has some sources that probably lead us to believe that maybe Texas has dug this up. And it goes on to say, my previous Venmo descriptions did not accurately portray the transactions in question, Mateer wrote on X, but were instead an inside joke between me and friends, which is fine. But you're going to have to elaborate, John. Like it or not, maybe you don't want to get your friends involved, and maybe you're worried about their privacy. But, hate to say it, but you're going to have to look out for yourself on this, brother. If it was something that was an inside joke and y'all were gambling on video games that y'all were playing against each other, because that's one of the rumors out there, then you need to go ahead and say that. Whether your friends get a little blowback and maybe get a little in the public eye, that just comes with the territory, as sad as it is. But there are some new allegations out there that have been surfacing as well that John Mateer maybe placed bets under an alias name or through a friend or something like that. So I investigated that as well, and here is what I found on that allegation. It says here is of August the 13th, 2025, there are no credible reports suggesting Oklahoma quarterback John Mateer bet on sports using an alias name. And it goes on to say blah, blah, blah about the stuff we've already talked about. But for right now, that allegation and that rumor is just that. It's just an allegation and a rumor, which leads me back to Texas. And maybe some SEC rivals out there. Maybe some people that don't like Oklahoma, like USC and the Skittle Shippers, that maybe, they're digging this stuff up conveniently right before the season starts. I mean, why didn't this stuff come out back a few years ago? Or why didn't this stuff come out? It don't even have to be that far back. Why didn't it come back in like March or April of this year? Why is it coming out right before the season starts? It sounds like to me, Texas, even though you went to the playoffs back-to-back years and you've beaten Oklahoma a couple of years in a row, it sounds like some of your cowardly fan base is a little worried about how good Oklahoma might actually be with a pretty damn good quarterback. That's my take on it. I think there's some nefarious stuff going around. Now, sure enough, John Mateer may have betted on some games, but he needs to elaborate. That's the bottom line right there. And as someone suggested in the comment section of the live stream last night, this Richard Roten, or wherever his name is, they need to talk to him. That'll clear everything up, in my opinion. Now, I know you maybe don't want to expose your friends, like I said earlier, to the public eye and the scrutiny, but at this point, you may have to do it so we can put this to rest, because we all know the NCAA is really, really crooked, and they may find something just of the smallest nature, some kind of loophole to try to punish Oklahoma or a team from the Southeastern Conference, which they're notorious for doing. But you guys and gals, tell me in the comment section what you think about all this. Who do you think's behind it? Do you think it's a real deal? Do you think John Mateer may be sort of playing it off, calling it an inside joke, and maybe there's a little more to it? Maybe there is a little bit of gambling going on, and there might be a situation where he might have to set out some games, maybe even the whole season? Or do you think it's, like I said, maybe it's some nefarious stuff coming from rivals on the Texas side and other rivals out there? Drop it in the comment section. Also, if you want to join the Outlaw Posse, it's not $2.99 a month. That's just 75 cents a week. You get a badge and you get deputized. You get your random Four Horsemen shout out, as well as possibly the comment of the day, like those guys did earlier. And if you can't do all that, it's absolutely free to like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. It's the big four, all free, and subscribing, the last one, is the most important one. It gets this party bigger and gets it crunk. So share me out to all your friends before this football season kicks off in 2025. KMCA to all the other teams. Class is now officially dismissed.